what my dollhouse has been missing? Obviously, from the title of this video, you know that it is a dog. I love dogs. I mean, I love other people's dogs. They are a lot of responsibility for me, but I figured these ones will be little to no responsibility, so that would be fun. I am using bases that I found on AliExpress. To be honest, I thought these were going to be plush, and they're definitely hard. I thought they were going to be something I could just wire, but that is not the case. They are definitely plastic inside. As you can tell. So I have to go about this a little differently than I had originally anticipated. So I got this super cute husky, but I also got a second dog, and this looks like a yellow lab, I believe. Golden retrievers are a bit fuzzier, I think, so I believe that's what's happening. There is a definite quality difference in the two. The husky is definitely softer and has much nicer fur. Speaking of that fur, I'm sorry doggos, but it is time to cut this off. That sounds really sad, and honestly, it's kind of freaky, and I was thinking about how weird it is that I am doing a video where I am essentially skinning dogs. Like, it's weird. But also, can we just take a minute and appreciate that this was so easy to get off, and also, it was a full, like, figurine under here. I don't know what I was expecting, but a full plastic toy was not it. I thought maybe it would be like a cardboard shell or something, but it's just a solid dog figure like you would find at the dollar store or something. I'm going to keep these around because I'm not using these bodies or these heads, but it's going to be very helpful to have them as reference. So this is what the first skin looks like. Honestly, the eyes are super creepy. I don't know. All right, little guy, it's time to remove your fur as well. The one thing about the longer fur is it was honestly so much harder to find the seams. I basically just had to pull around until something started to give, namely around a leg. Once I found a spot to get in, it was really easy to remove, and I thought it was going to be more complicated having all the fur in multiple pieces, which is how it was glued, but no, this is way easier to get on. If you are going to try and replicate this, I'm super strongly going to recommend getting the husky or one of the long-haired variations because it's so much easier to pull this apart in pieces and then use the fur again in the pieces. For now, here's my piles of fluff. I'm going to move the husky to the side. Also, I'm going to take a quick minute to trace out the base pattern in case I ever feel like using this pattern again or making another one completely from scratch. I think that would be really fun to do. Because the heads were plastic and not foam or something I could reuse, I'm going to have to sculpt new ones. So I'm using Super Sculpey polymer clay as well as some liquid Sculpey. I've also got some sculpting tools, which I use pretty minimally, honestly, and some wire. This yarn is going to be used to fluff up the doll, very similar to how I made my mini-me art doll in a previous video. Okay, this is almost everything I need, but we can get a few more supplies in here. There we go. Now we've got some wooden beads, some tape. I'll show you what these are for in a minute, but first let's soften up this clay. I really like the liquid Super Sculpey because it helps me soften the clay much quicker and makes it much more malleable. Typically with ball jointed dolls, I would use a foam base or sometimes a tinfoil base because it's easier to remove and because it's firm. But I'm not going to be cutting the head open or hollowing it out. But I don't want it to be solid clay because it would be very, very heavy. So instead I made these hot glue, wood bead, and tape contraptions that I can wrap some wire around. The wire is super important because this is how I'm going to be attaching all parts to the body. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a lot easier to get the wire in now than it will be later. So if you're going to do this, definitely recommend doing it this way. All right, a little bit of a sculpting time lapse, and I'm going to just try and make this vaguely the shape of a dog head. Like I mentioned, it's going to have a lot of fur over top of it, and I was surprised it was completely plastic underneath, because once you get the fur on, it really doesn't make that much of a difference, especially for the fuzzier guys. I want the head to be roughly the same size though, because the fur still has to cover the same amount of area. If you're going to make this completely from scratch, this might be less of a concern for you. But because I'm using pre-cut fabric, this is going to be a necessity. Once I've got the heads done, I go ahead and get some feet ready. So for this, I just roll out some more clay, and then I'm going to use armature wire to create little feet. So to get started, I'm going to roll out the clay and cut the appropriate amount of wire. I end up cutting 8 pieces of wire, 4 on the shorter side and 4 on the longer side. That's because the front feet don't need as much length as the back feet, because the back feet do that little arch thing that dog legs do. Once I've got the wire all cut, I can curl it into the right position, leaving 2 longer ends out. This is again so I can attach them to the body. Then I can cover them in clay. I'm actually really excited to be doing this. It's a project I've wanted to do for a while and wasn't fully sure where to start. I already have a cat from Miracle Fox Creations. I got it like 2 years ago, but I believe Miracle Fox Creations is no longer making art dolls, which is really sad. It's super cute. I also have a felted dog I got from, I think, my second Christmas craft exchange. And I love him very much. He is a beagle, I believe. Very cute. But I thought the bigger dogs would be a little more robust, and if I make them myself, I'll be less worried about hurting them when I play with them. Also, this is another instance of that. I wanted to see if I could, so I did, which I strongly encourage others to do as well. It's a lot of fun to try new things. So in the end, here are the sets of feet that I've got. Yes, I have a couple extra. I wanted to make sure that if they broke in the oven, I would have extras. And here are the 3 heads. I'm going to throw these in the oven at 225 for 20 or 25 minutes, and then we can come back and make the bodies. All right, pieces are cooked and cooled. That sounds really weird, but now we can attach them to the wire. I make a super quick wire armature. I tried a couple different methods, and I think the second one ends up working better, even though it looks a little bit weird as I'm doing it. But this is basically just jewelry wire from Amazon. It works really well for this purpose, and it's not too stiff on the hands. Once all the pieces are secured with the wire, I go ahead and wrap it in this yarn. I bought this yarn originally to make wigs out of, but it doesn't brush out nearly as nice as I thought it would, so I'm going to just be using it for art dolls instead. I wasn't getting the volume I wanted on the hips though, so I did glue a couple pieces and then stick them on and then wrap them some more. The whole doll ends up being wrapped in fabric, so this isn't going to be an issue. I also secure the yarn in various spots and at various times using some hot glue. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the other one, but while we do that, let's check out this week's doll of the week. This week's doll of the week comes from Artsy Cat Dolls over on Instagram. I haven't seen any photos with clothes yet, but I am so in love with this face up she did on her Poppy. Like, are you kidding me with the spider webs? It is so beyond cool and just goes to show how much a face up can change the look of a doll. Thank you so much for sharing cat art dolls. And if you want to be featured for Doll of the Week, don't forget to share your photo over on Instagram using hashtag TeenyTinkersDolls and then tagging me at TeenyTinkers. As well, you can also join the Discord server, and the link for that is in the description. You can post photos in the server, and I might use those for Doll of the Week too. With that said, let's get back to the dolls of this week, which are, of course, our art dogs. Here they are, and yeah, there are 3. The pieces ended up not cracking, so I ended up having a whole extra dog. I went ahead and wrapped it, and I'll be finishing that at a later time. But for now, let's focus on this yellow lab and also this husky. I realized after the fact the yellow lab is actually shorter than the original figure, so it's definitely giving more puppy proportions, which is still really cute, but it means I have to really adjust the fur. I do end up with this weird seam down the side that I really don't love. This is another reason I'll recommend using the thick fur for your first time. Then I just glue on his eyes and nose, and it looks pretty cute. The seam is really unsightly, but I'm hoping I can fix that with paint later. On the other hand, adding the fur back onto the husky is really easy. The only thing I'm gonna say is, with the new head, it doesn't really look like a husky anymore. It actually didn't really look like a husky in the first place. I think it's because of how long the fur is around the face. Huskies, I think, have shorter fur on the nose. This dog was giving more Burmese Mountain Dog, so I'm going to go with that. Burmeses are more on the chunky side, kind of like this guy, and the coloring is pretty similar. He'll only need some minor adjustments. So let's start painting. I'm going to be using some acrylic paint to start. I do thin this down quite heavily with water, which allows it to absorb into the fabric more and be a little less stiff. I'm trying to play into where the creases are to create the shadows, but he's definitely giving a little bit of saggy skin. I think puppies kind of have this look anyway, so I'm just going to go with it. In the future, I would really try and make this tighter, even maybe use a stretchy fabric. But with every bit of paint and every detail, it does look a little better. If you don't look too closely, I mean. I'm going to let this acrylic paint dry, but he's going to be getting some chalk pastels soon. And onto my Husky/Burmese, I'm using a Posca brown paint pen and just adding in the brown coloring. Burmeses are mostly black and white, but they have quite a lot of brown as well, so I'm just adjusting the coloring to match more with that kind of coat pattern. I actually think this makes the dog look cuter and a little more realistic as well. Surprisingly, this paint didn't dry super stiff, and I was able to brush it out after, and it looks pretty good. It only didn't want to cover in this one really stubborn spot, but, you know, it is what it is. I love this though because the fabric on the legs, the white part, is all felt, and I thought it wasn't looking detailed enough in the original dog, and adding the brown to it really brought it together, I think. It looks more realistic, it blends better. I don't know, I was just really happy with it. I did, however, have to paint nearly the entire tail, which did end up a little stiff, if I'm going to be honest, because it needed so much paint to cover the white, and because the fur was so long. Okay, that's going to take solidly 20 minutes to dry, so let's just add some chalk pastels to the yellow lab. It's funny how you don't notice how much markings and coloring is actually on a dog as plain as a yellow lab until you're actually painting it on. But I used oranges, yellows, browns, even some beiges, and a little bit of white to make this dog come together. But yeah, definitely more on the puppy proportions, but I do think he turned out really cute anyways. Even with the wire being thinner, they are very sturdy, especially once wrapped and fluffed. They stand with no problems. And they even greet each other and say hello. That's not quite right. There we go. But yeah, they can sit and they can even stand on their back legs with a little support from their tails. I think this is going to make for some super duper cute photos. There's only one thing missing still. Yeah, these dogs need collars. I just put a strip of pleather on each of their necks, and in the future, I'll probably add a charm or a nameplate. If you have any name suggestions for these guys, let me know down in the comments. Alright, but now let's introduce them to the dollhouse, and more importantly, to one of my dolls. Fig is certainly in love, and I can't blame her. They are so cute. Let me know what you think. If you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're new here, I hope you like the content and consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!